Hey, everybody, this is Dr. J, Professor Spike and Kamal, coming to you live from various parts in the East Coast. And happy today because the market didn't collapse. It bumped heads with the 200-day moving average. And unlike most other times, it didn't really retreat. It retreated a point. So the thing is, tomorrow is another day. And will we go through that 200 and the downward trend line that we've been talking about? Or will the bears have their way and we collapse as Mike Wilson says we will? That is the question. We're going to look at the chart. We're going to recognize who's here today and who's not here today. Who's not here? Andrew.
Andrew's not here.
Yes. And if markets
there we go. Pete's here.
Disney breaking 100, I think that's
Disney. It better.
I think one of the analysts put a target of 110 on Disney today.
So, Dr. J, is this upward movement going to continue, or is going to hit a ceiling and crash down?
Well, probability would suggest that it's likely to back off again. But as I was saying before the show, it will eventually go through that downward trend line. It will take out the 200. Will this be the time? I don't know. Probability is probably 2/3 that it won't.
Well, we're running out of halves for 2022. We're already in the third half. The fourth half or the fifth half of 2022.
So I look at it this way. It's a 2-to-1 bet. If it does go through the 200 and totally throws in a candle that doesn't even touch the 200, doesn't even touch the descending trend line, then I think you're in for a serious run. In other words, the Mike Wilsons of the world will look foolish. And I would like nothing better than to see that. But I'm not so sure it's going to happen this go around. What, you have an opinion?
I just want to see the graph. I want to see the chart.
I am thinking that as much as we like to say that the talking heads, usually get it wrong. I think getting optimistic too quickly might be a mistake.
Yeah, well, as I said, it respected the 200 the last 3 times it bumped up against it. So the odds favor another pullback. Now, it doesn't have to pull back to 300 like Mike Wilson said. It could pull back.
Yeah, that was extreme, wasn't it?
It could pull back.
So pessimistic.
It could pull back to 375 and respect that support area. And if it does that, I could live with that. If it goes to 300, I can't live with that.
No, me either.
Not that you'll have any choice, Dr. J.
Yeah, I'll be even more upset than I normally am.
You'll live, but not as happily.
Even lately, even on up days, I'm not too happy. So I don't know what.
So then, what difference does it make if it hits 300?
Yeah, I mean, money can't buy you love, so they say.
Right. Well, could buy a lot of love substitutes.
A lot of love substitutes. Yeah.
What do they call it in finance? Replicating. You could do things that replicate love.
Yes, a little replicator. Tim is with us, by the way. Presidents, I don't want to.
It's starting to work next to the Corvette.
They did not go through the training because
it was in the trunk of his Corvette.
It's a shame on us. What can I say?
Right.
Shame on us.
I had Dr. J. I worked for a defense company at some point, and I had a secret clearance.
Right.
And you had to go through so much training.
Yeah.
And how to handle this material and what to do with it and whatnot. So those guys didn't go through the training. If they've been through this training, they would not done that.
Right. They don't. They get the clearance without the training. I mean, Jared didn't even take the training.
I was just talking, Pete. I was just mentioning dmtk that made me very happy today, up another 40%.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about three stocks in my portfolio that I liked a lot that were under 100 million in market cap. Dermtech, athx. What was the third one? Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how they're doing, but
I lost money.
Dermtech is making me happy.
Yeah, I lost money on Dermatech.
Oh, Pete seems
I sold
happy.
it a long time. I couldn't.
So Pete, you
couldn't
took the
hold it anymore.
athx out of your handle, huh?
I would have used Dermtech as one of my yearly picks. The problem is it was under $5. And that's my
Oh,
own
that's
rule,
right.
yeah.
That was one of the rules.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But I'm doing well. I'm number one. I'm the leader of the pack. I think since the new year, buying at the open, the five stocks that I'm in, I'd be up 14%, I believe. 14 or 15%. But MA is like a fraction of a percent behind me.
Oh yeah.
We're taking turns. MA is doing very well with Sava and what else? I forget. Plug, maybe
Oh,
Plug.
that's right. He had plug. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens in the third half of this year.
And everyone's happy about BBBY, another one that looked like it was dead. The meme crowd has put some life into it.
Right. Just when you thought they ran out of money, the allowance time came.
I'm happy about BBBY because I can drop my wife off there and leave her for about 2 hours, and she's happy. In Bed Bath and Beyond, or the other one. What's the other one that is competitor?
On what, GameStop?
Home shopping, home store, home goods.
Home Goods.
Home goods.
Right.
She likes that store. She loves that store.
This is Pete praying to the gods like I am that athx comes back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they have better leadership now. That's true. I think that's fair to say that. All right. So I want
fingers
to
crossed.
SPY. We'll begin now.
Yeah.
I am so tired today. I need to take some amphetamines. I actually do. One of the pills I take is sort of an amphetamine.
With the crystal meth?
No, the Azilect, which it has like an amphetamine effect. It's for Parkinson's. It gives you a little boost, but not too much, just little. All right, let me make this screen bigger, right? Spiders. There's that long-term trend line. You see, we nudged a little just above it last time, and it came back. So if we break it tomorrow, it doesn't mean it's going to stay, right? We got to close above it, and then we need a confirmation candle that clears it completely. And finally, to really be convincing, you got to take this high out at 429 or 430, whatever it is. So you want to really close above 430, and then we could talk about new highs. As quickly as ABC 123, as quickly as Mike Wilson is saying 300, he could pivot and say 500 within a month. Let the market just take out 430, and let's see if he changes his tune. He'll say, well, the technicals are such that we can't call for a downturn. He'll come up with some BS, They all do.
Well, I mean, you tend to quote him a lot, which means that you
look. I'm not saying I do respect him. I'm not showing him disrespect. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. You're just hoping that he's wrong.
They're never right all the time.
Right. Yeah, because what he said was actually pretty pessimistic, despite the fact that we were just at least matching the inflation numbers with
Yeah,
a negative 0.1 somewhere in there, which was nice.
I thought the 6.5 print for the inflation was down from 9 in how many months?
Hmm.
For like less than 6, right? That's not bad. And what's the core? 5.7, I think.
Yeah, certainly. It's below 6.
So look, those numbers are pretty much what the street expected, and it yawned. It was a yawn number.
Well, right, because when you hit the estimates exactly,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't really sell the news. So
No, I mean, do you remember the old days when the market, when things used to go down on good news?
yeah,
At
I would
least that
say
didn't happen. At least that didn't happen.
this wasn't astounding news, but it certainly wasn't bad news. It was what we expected.
Yeah, no, but it had some nice pieces to it. I like the fact we saw a negative number in inflation.
Yeah.
So
Look,
Certainly our friend Joe was happy.
if you want to buy a used car, it's a really good time. If you want
Used
to buy
cars,
if you want to buy a used house, it's second, a house. It's a good time.
right? Assuming you can pay cash for it.
Maybe not a new house, but a resale. It's a good time to buy certain items. By the way, what's with Tesla? I'm digressing, but I know they didn't collapse today, but there was bad news out of China. Did you hear about it?
I
no.
did not.
Their factory in Shanghai is not going to meet the supply that they expect. They're
Is
going to be
that for
built.
Chinese customers, or is that for customers all over?
I guess for Chinese customers, but that's 25% of their market. It's a serious blow if they can't if they can't meet demand. Oh
Yeah,
well, I tell you, he made
especially
such.
since it's so elastic now.
He also they're upset about Tesla being in the satellite business. They think there's security, political repercussions. They're worried about being spied on from above, something like that. I just listened with half an ear this morning to that report. So he made a colossal mess. He sold a lot of Tesla because of Twitter, and he's in SpaceX, which is causing problems with the Chinese. I think he should just step down from Tesla and hide somewhere. It's time.
It's time for him to pull a Jack Ma.
Oh man, politically he's not astute. He's made one mistake after another. So you blame it on the Asperger's, blame it on whatever you like. I think his time has come and gone. If I had a lot of money in Tesla, I would be demanding. If I was a major stakeholder, I'd be demanding he leave. That's how bad it is. They're better off without him.
All the market fervor is aimed at Disney instead.
Yeah. All right. So the spiders, I drew the downward trend line. I want to show how close we were to it today. We did cross the 200, you see. We closed just about at the 200. So it's a very critical juncture. And the support area that I talked about, the 375, comes about from here. You see this line that I just did? That'll be support. If it goes through, maybe Mike Wilson's right, or maybe he's not. Maybe some close.
Did he say 20%? He said 20%, right?
I don't know. He kept talking 300. Did he raise it to 320 again?
Well, the report I heard. Let me see if anybody in the audience have a better.
He said 20% when it was at 380, so that's 300.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But if he repeated 20% today, that would imply 320.
Gotcha.
I don't know what he said. I don't keep the track on every word he says every day of his life, but I know he's
No, but
had.
he happened to show up on CNBC though, which is
Okay.
pretty mainstream.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he said today. I wasn't watching.
I think it was more like the that that he was optimistic overall, but not for it to start right away. I think that's the way I read what he said. Anyway,
I was thinking of dabbling in the spiders, puts or calls, or wasn't sure which way. So I was looking at the 15-minute chart, and that was kind of interesting. Let me see what it is that I saw on the 15-minute chart that I thought was so interesting. It looked more interesting earlier. I don't see the same thing. I saw earlier. I thought I saw. Maybe it was the 5-minute I was looking at. Oh, well, this is not the 15 minutes. This is 1 year. That's wrong. It should be 1 day.
yeah.
1 day. 5 days is okay. There we go. This is what I was looking at. All right. I often use the 15-minute chart to make up my mind about a swing trade that was something I want to be in and out of within a day or two or three. So I was looking at this and noticing that the 100-day was respected here, and again at the end of the day here. So we have good support at the 100-day, 100 period 15 moving average, and at the same time, the 50 repelled it a couple of times. It got through every average, including the 9-day at 2 p.m. What was that today? Yeah. So it did break above all of them, but right now it's sort of trapped between the 50 and the 100. And being that it's so indecisive, I didn't want to go short or long. I was waiting for a break of the 100 or a break to the break up. I didn't get either, so I didn't make a bet on the spiders. But again, I think it's 2-to-1 odds that the resistance above will send it back down. 1 out of 3 chance it breaks out. That's how I look at it. It's all probability. How did I get to those probabilities? I didn't really put tremendous deep thought into it, but this is off the back of the envelope, if you like. My estimate.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to be in the 15-minute for Bitcoin.
No. Oh, for Bitcoin, no, certainly don't.
No.
Yeah, Chris is asking whether or not the XBI is breaking out these days.
I don't think so, but I mean, certain stocks certainly are, but
They may or may not be part of that index because there have been a couple of good news pieces.
Well, the IBB is more constrained because it has large caps as well as micros. This is a beautiful breakout for Bitcoin.
Oh yeah. What's the period on that?
I had the chart already done, and I had the lines drawn already.
Daily.
Yeah. See, I drew the resistance, and if you'll notice, we're at resistance. We crossed it. We crossed resistance. So now the next thing to stop us is the 200-day moving average, which is at 1954. Is Bitcoin leading the spiders higher, or the spiders leading Bitcoin higher? Which is it?
Well,
I know they're very correlated, but I don't know which one is the leading indicator.
well, remember, correlation is not causation, so
I know.
it's not really a question we should be asking. But if I were to say which one was causing, I would say the fact that there's some optimism in the spiders would create some optimism in coin.
Uh-huh.
That would be my read of it.
I think that's been the case. I think it's been a risk-on play, Bitcoin.
So I mean, a lot of people have been saying it's not really like a currency; it's trading like a commodity.
More or less, except the swings are great, much greater than any other commodity. Over the last 3 months, it hasn't been, but in general, the swings are really big on Bitcoin. Here we go. Last 3 months, it's in this range between, what is it on the low? 15.6 to wherever we are today, 18. Figure about 3,000 range.
Well, all right.
It's still pretty big range, 20% range. Not that tiny over 3 months, 20%. But that shows you how volatile Bitcoin is. It looks like a commodity now because it's not swinging 100%. It's only swinging 20%. Bitcoin is extremely volatile. But if you think Bitcoin is volatile, then you got to look at MicroStrategy, which is Bitcoin on steroids. And here it is. It doesn't look as, the chart is not as good, by the way, on MicroStrategy. You got to wonder if we're going to go through this double top, triple top that we formed today. So MicroStrategy is my second pick of the year after Amazon. It was 140 when I picked it, and it's 210 today. And 10 to 8, how many trading days? 10 trading days. Not even 7 trades, 8 trading days. So in 8 trading days, it went up from 140 to 210, 33%. Do you think you could stand a little pullback?
Well, according to your pictures and the way everybody's talking.
Yeah, I suspect a little pullback is in order.
Yeah, that's a very steep incline.
Well,
Yeah, I would think, when it goes up this sharp, this quick, it's going to pull back.
So what's the opposite of a nipple? You know how like when you get a little red on the top of that? When it's the opposite, we call it a nibble sign.
A nipple sign? How about a nipple? Maybe it's a nipple, a little red on the top, right?
Well, because when it's a downward sequence of red.
I gave you the answer. It's a nipple.
It's a nipple. Oh, very funny. I get it. Okay.
You said it was a little red, right?
The show's gone blue, everybody.
I mean, we don't usually.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly the right answer.
We don't talk about nipples that often.
Pete gave you the definition of that.
All right. I was going to call it. I
don't want to say it.
I was going to call it a trim.
People say I'm a dull boy, but I'm really not.
No, you're not. We all know that, Dr. J. You have a streak in you.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so be careful with MicroStrategy. I'm not saying sell it. I own it myself. I'm not selling it, but I might seek a little protection, right? Because of the nipple, you need a little protection.
Right.
I don't want to talk about what to do for protection, but DermTech, this is making me excited. Now everything I say has got sexual.
It's all salacious now.
I can't say anything without sexual innuendo at this point. That's what happens when you start that way.
Yeah, I know. I tend to cause those.
All right, so
sometimes unintentionally.
DermTech is had an amazing week out of the blue. Basically, no reason. Now, just like MicroStrategy, I would urge you to be careful if you own it. I own it. I doubled down in the ones, but I just doubled down on the number of shares I have. I didn't double down on the amount I paid originally. So I'm still not even. I'm happy, but I'm still not even. Where's it going to go? I think it's a $10 stock. I do think we are susceptible to pullback.
Wow.
However, I do think
be a
it's a
road
$10
there.
stock. I said that last time we met, right? I talked about dmtk, what
Yes.
else? Capricorn and
Very funny, Pete.
athx. I like all three. I like the risk reward on all three. Tech, where's it going? $10. Where's it going short term? Probably back to the middle of this candle, or at least yesterday's low, which was 290. You know, easy come, easy go. That's how I look at it. I want 290 to hold. 290 holds, I'll be happy, believe it or not. I expect a pullback. I could be wrong. Maybe it's being bought out tomorrow. What do I know? That would make me happy.
So you're holding.
$10. That'll be the takeout price. I'll be right for a change, right on the nose. It's happened to me.
Okay,
It's
Dr.
happened
I
to
gotta
me.
drop out.
Maybe if Arjun could be rewarded for holding on to Albo, I can be rewarded for holding on to dmtk.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my I'm waiting for my reward on stuff that I bought 18 years ago.
Amazon was my number one pick. It finally had it turned in a red candle today, but all in all, not bad.
Yeah.
Red candle, but up for the day. So
These days, anything above 90 is happy time.
yeah. Where's this going? Probably halfway back from here to where it started. What it started, what, 180? 190? I don't remember.
Well, the 3,000 equivalent was 150.
Yeah, I never hit
And
3,000.
it took a
Oh yeah,
right,
it never hit 4,000.
3,000, but it didn't hit 4,000, so it never got to the 20.
It came close. It came to over 3,800, I think.
Right. It got
So that would be 190. Halfway to 190 from here would be about 50 points, about 145. That would make me happy for the year on Amazon. Let me make that my target, 145. What the hell? What the heck?
okay.
It's my number one pick. I'm going to make 145 my target. Short term, I mean, if the market pulls back, it'll pull back.
No, but it's still, it's like I said, in the old days when we were talking about 3,000 was going to be like a somewhat reasonable price, because during the COVID it went from 1,600 to over 3.
Right, 3,000. You would
So
think.
now, what you're talking about brings it back using that index to about 29. So that's not unreasonable at all.
Right. No. All right. Amazon. I don't want to spend forever on Amazon, but I like it. It's my top pick of the year. I like it better than the other fangs. I own a little bit of my. I think I own all of them except Netflix. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I don't own any Netflix. I own Facebook, Meta, whatever, just a little. I own Amazon, the biggest chunk, Apple second.
And why is Microsoft not a FANG?
It should be. I own some. I don't know why it's not a FANG. Because it's not an FANOG.
Well, yeah, right. Okay.
That would be the only reason I can think of.
Maybe because it's the nerdy kid that nobody wants to play with.
Yeah, it's not the right letter. What else did I advertise? Anybody know?
Well, you only have CPI and the Fed on the tag.
Yeah, so what's going to happen because of the CPI report? I say 25 points, you say 50.
Oh, for what the next time? When is that? When is the
Sometime in February. I'm not sure. Mid-February. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, he's still talking tough. He's going to at least indicate that 50 is still on the table.
Still on the table, but one of the Fed chairs, voting chairs, said 25. He's for 25.
I don't think he would drop to 25 on just this one data point. Not unless there's
No,
an
but he talked 25 before seeing the CPI report.
Oh, when he was in, he just gave a talk
Not
earlier this
Powell,
week.
not Powell, one of the Fed
Oh, the other
governors.
guy. Okay.
The guy.
You know, but this week Powell was still talking tough, and I don't know if
Yeah,
this changed his mind.
Even if they do 25, they're going to talk tough. They're going to keep going until inflation is 2.5% or 2%, whatever. But that's not true. So they'll take their foot off the gas pedal when it gets down to about 3.5%. Maybe even start cutting at 3. So you can't believe a word they say. They're talking you down, and that's part of their game plan. Talk it down.
Oh yeah, I never got that information about the overall long term because I'm watching these things about what was going on during the 70s and the 80s when 3 would have been a dream time.
Yeah.
Right. So this idea of aiming after 3, I mean, I don't know what the long term number is.
The average Fed rate.
No, yeah,
Well,
the average overall interest rate.
I know under Eisenhower, which is the first president that I remember, interest rates were very low. So I know there's a history of low interest rates. Average, I don't know. It's not zero like it had been. It was.
No, I get that, and we know that the stuff that happened in the 80s and the 70s is a bit of an anomaly, except some of that stuff is repeating itself these days.
And also,
which is why I'm saying 5 might be 3 might be a pipe dream, but 5 might be reasonable.
And also, the last 20 years, an anomaly as well.
It's been it's been about 2, right? Between 2 and 3.
Zero interest rates.
Oh, you're talking about the interest rates, right? I was thinking inflation, but you're right. And those aren't necessarily correlated.
Well, I think they're tied in, the inflation rate and the interest rates, somewhat tied in.
They try to be.
Try to be. All right. So what else did I list? Was there anything else?
Oh, we got people talking about bcrx and athx. If you wanted to just mention it before signing off. Do you have anything to say?
bcrx, all I can say is ouch. This is my fourth best pick of the year, and I'm the only one I'm losing on, or since the beginning of the year. And it had disappointing earnings, so it got punished. And the guidance for going forward for the first quarter is not too good on Oladeo. So I'm a little less enthusiastic than I had been before that report. I haven't sold any, but I may sell some actually. I'm getting a little tired of holding this one. So I might trim on the downside, which I don't like to do, but
yeah, really. You're going to hold anyway, unless you're saving some profit.
I have a lot of this, so I would trim a little bit and just buy something else.
I got you. Lost opportunity cost.
Yeah, I'm mulling that over. What was the other one? Athx?
Yeah, the athx was being talked about. Because Pete's here.
Yeah, athx has had a phenomenal run from 50 cents to $1.20. And it's had that run in a matter of weeks. So just like the other ones that we talked about with big runs, you got to figure they're vulnerable to pull back to around $1. Should you sell? Well, if you bought a ton like Jake at 50 cents, you probably should take something off the table.
Right. Well, yeah.
I bought at 50 cents, but not a lot.
Yeah. I think my price now is about an equivalent to $50. So I'm not selling any of them.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. But it might be worth, again, but maybe at this time dollar cost averaging.
The thing is that they made a big hullabaloo about being having halfway fulfilled the enrollment quota for Masters 2, the stroke trial. But that took them about 3 years to go halfway. So what does that imply? According to the CEO, they're going to finish up quickly because the treasury results were appetizing enough to make people want to do the trial and more sites and so on and so forth. But they have a history of being slow, and you can't be slow when it comes to this kind of thing. So I'm not overly excited. I'm holding shares, but I'm not overly excited. Anything else?
All right, we've hit our 35-minute mark, so.
All right. So we'll say we did more or less what I said we would do. DermTech is very exciting. Did we lose Kamal?
Yeah, he said he had to leave at 5.
No. All right. Thanks for coming, Pete. Ziesman. We haven't seen Ziesman in a while.
Right.
Linus, thank you.
Thank you, Linus.
And as always, do your own due diligence, right? Our opinion's not our own. And check with an advisor before acting, and so on and so forth. And subscribe and give us a like, and listen with half an ear at least. You don't have to listen with 2 ears, but.
Or you could listen at 2 times speed.
I'll tell you one thing: you're better off tuning into this show than meet Kevin, the guy. The guy is losing a fortune for his followers, and literally losing a fortune because it's his number one pick. Tesla has gone to pot.
Wow.
You can't. I'm guilty of the same thing. I shouldn't talk. Look, Amazon is my number one pick. I lost 50% of my money on Amazon, so you can't.
You'll get it back.
I can't talk, but unlike him, I don't have an ETF where I'm telling people to invest.
Right. We'll let you know if we build the fund, guys.
But the funny thing is, he sounds like he really knows what he's talking about.
So do we.
I listened to him a few times, and he's very good, very persuasive. I tell people right up front, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
Listen at your own risk. I'm just a senile old man with Parkinson's. Don't listen to me.
Like I said, we're not selling a fund anyway, so we're in good.
We're not selling funds, and we just do this strictly for fun.
Exactly.
To amuse ourselves.
We need the company. We're lonely.
Look, if I had a nice redhead, I might not do this show. If you give me an alternative, one that
we were talking before about opportunity cost. I understand.
Opportunity cost, exactly.
Right. Bye-bye.
All right, so look, we have fun. We really enjoy doing it. We really enjoy the company of Pete and Linus and Snaid and M and whoever shows up. Ziesman.
Jewish goodbye.
So we have fun, and I'm glad people show up because that means they're having fun too. And Andrew and Patrick and whoever else I left out. MA, of course. MA is just, he's like a 0.5 percentage point away from me. I'm up like 14% and change, so is he. All right, adios, amigos.
Bye, everybody.